Coach, I noticed you were on the field last game, but were you on the field in Michigan too? And just what led you to making that decision to come down versus the box?
No, I think I was in the box at Michigan. It's just been a while. I think the last time I was on the field was during COVID. And Dowdy Ficklen's a little bit different when it's not COVID. We had a special crowd last week, and the boneyard was packed, and just really appreciate the fans showing up and showing out for that. And that's what makes this place so special. But yeah, I was on the field, just kind of wanted to get down there and get a little bit different feel for the game, look at players in the eyes, and just really enjoyed it down there for some parts of it. And I'm not sure which way I'll be this week. It may be a week by week thing, game by game, but I think there's advantages to both. When you're up top, you have you can see everything, you can see the whole game. When you're down below, you can look the guys in the eyes, kind of get a feel for them, and they feed off of you, you feed off of them. Kind of the energy kind of goes hand in hand, and I thought it went that way, really well for about 60 snaps. Obviously there's some things in those first 60 snaps you got to clean up. We punched the ball out down there, backed up, and had an opportunity for a few other turnovers. I think Omar Rogers crossed the middle. Ra had an opportunity, so we got to take advantage and capitalize on those and clean up the penalties in those first 60 snaps. But just the effort we played with and the energy we played with was really good. I think we played 70 snaps total. 61 was one we really got to clean up with our eyes. Just had some dirty eyes there, and kind of broke us really, to be honest. And then turn back around and getting ready to go 3 and out, and had another mishap, and they end up in the box again. So I think we got to turn the last 10 snaps of the game into domination and finishing the way we want to finish, and really turning it up right there. And I think we'd be a lot happier this week.
How do you keep that energy and that focus up, when they hit you for one like that in the fourth? How do you just kind of watch that and stay locked in?
Yeah, that's what you train for, right? You train for toughness, and we keep talking this week. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. It's the same in a ball game. You always got to move on to the next play. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it may be. If we force a fumble down there, get the ball to our offense on the 3-yard line, we still got to go play the next snap, and we got to play with that same passion, energy, focus, locked in, doing our job, assignment, protecting our culture that we do, if something bad happens. So, you have short memory, especially when you're a DB. You got to move on to the next play, because if you don't, it can affect, several snaps. So you can't let one snap turn into 2 bad snaps.
You look at those plays, corners playing for the first time really this season.
Yeah.
And is that just part of the growing pains of those guys really playing for the first time?
Yeah, I think, the thing our guys are doing right now is really focus on App State, moving forward, pushing toward those guys, but at the same time, learning from those mistakes they made. Sometimes you learn those the painful way. And one play, there's a lot of plays in that ball game that to win us the game. I missed a couple of opportunities for turnovers there and a couple of penalties there. If we clean those up in the first half, that one play in the fourth quarter probably doesn't even, doesn't bother you because you're up several scores. But at the same time, those are the ones that stick with you. Those are the ones that keep you up at night, as a player, as a coach, and you keep turning and tossing, and you're going to go back to work this week even harder, more focused. I see our guys stepping up, whether it's guys on the field doing their job or our leaders stepping up and being more vocal and more demanding about, hey, we got to freaking even be more locked in and get the job done.
Do you feel like that's what happened last game, where they stuck on the previous play and that led to the next play?
Yeah, I didn't feel that way. You come out and I look up there, like they got 220 yards on the night, and you're playing pretty well, and you feel like there's no way they can go 75 yards. And then they try the trick play, the double pass, and it gets in there, and we got to bounce back. That's where we just got to even be tougher right there, and we got to create a turnover down there. I think they put the ball on the ground through a swing pass, went behind the line of scrimmage. Some way we got to get in there and punch that out and see if we can't come up with that, see if get the ball to bounce our way. And I told our guys, keep playing your tails off, keep playing hard, and good things will happen. Good things that happen to guys that go to work every day, bust their tails, play their hearts out, and play the type of brand of football that we want to inspire the nation.
App State likes a physical running attack. Do you like that challenge, and do you tell that to your players, hey, this is man on man?
Yeah, certainly. And I think we've been challenged in the run game the last 2 weeks. I mean, with the 2 running backs at Marshall, Ali last weekend, I think those are 3 of the best tailbacks. I'd put them up there with the top 10 in the nation, I'm sure. Not just me, but any expert. around any guy that's making some list or whatever it may be. But App State, Noel, he was there 2 years ago when we played him, and certainly had some big runs that game, and has certainly done it for the last 2 years. The kid from right up the road in Raleigh, who was a Navy transfer, is doing a nice job back there as well. The O-line is in sync. The head coach is an O-line guy, and they're doing a really good job running that stretch, running the zone. Frank Ponce, who was the OC 2 years ago, back in 21, he's back now. He was gone last year. He was at University of Miami as the quarterbacks coach, but he's back, and you can see him. They're back to greased up. Did a really nice job attacking North Carolina last week on the ground and in the air. And, he's a quarterbacks guy. I think they threw for 260, 270 last week. Ran the ball for 225, so pretty balanced. The quarterback situation, I think the start at the beginning of the year, Berger from Myrtle Beach there got hurt in game 1. We'll prepare for him. I don't think he's going to be back, but we'll prepare for him. Obviously, the guy's been the guy the last 2 games, the JUCO transfer guy, has done a really nice job. He's a gamer back there. Makes some really nice plays down the field with his arm. He can scramble around, pick up first downs on short yardage situations. So he kind of adds the complete package back there. And, the receiver that's been kind of impressive is number 6. Had a big game against North Carolina last week. I think about 110, 120 receiving. And he's got some speed, got some wheels. Caden Robinson, number 2, does a nice job out there. 13, he's a team captain as well, does a nice job out there. So they've got some weapons. And, it's obviously a tough place to play up there. It's going to be a packed house. Our kids are looking forward to that, excited about that. We've already played, in front of a big crowd at the big house. We played in front of an awesome crowd here in Dowdy-Ficklin. And we're excited to get up there and go to work as well.
They brought up Coach Houston kind of going back to his home area, homeland, and kind of similar situation for you. How familiar with the area are you and everybody coming to the game?
I think when you're a kid, you can't wait to get out of the mountains. It's you want to leave and never come back, or you want to stay there and never leave, one or the other. And I don't think you realize, when you're a kid, how beautiful the mountains are until you go back, and especially in the fall. I don't know if the leaves will be changing, but I feel like home in some ways. But still, it's still about 2.5, 3 hours from the house, so it's a long way. But I have a lot of family there, a lot of friends there coming up. I think my parents, my brother, and all those are coming up. Both brothers and their families. So there's about 15 of those folks coming up. And it'll be good just to have them there. But the most important thing is at 3:30 when we kick off that we're ready to play and we're locked in and we go take care of business.
What is that chess match like with them bringing the OC back? Because obviously y'all face each other in 21. Do you try not to overthink what happened in that game, or at least look back at it?
Yeah, I don't like thinking about it. I'll be honest about that. That year, we started out 0-2 that year, and we did not play well game 1. And that's defensively we've had some bright spots. We haven't been able to finish last week, but we've had some bright spots defensively so far. That game, I don't think there was any bright spots. I think J-Mac picked the ball off. That's about it. And that game too, Coach Ponce that was his first time really calling it. Maybe he was involved in the past game in Louisville. So you were kind of guessing on what they might do. Now you've got a whole season of what he did in 21 plus 2 games in 23 here that you can kind of study and go back to, and you got a better feel for who they are offensively. And they've always been kind of that, hey, run the outside zone stretch play, throw the play action shots, third down, they got a true drop back game. But now you have a better feel for who he is and his identity and who he is as a play caller. So that adds to it. I think you studied a lot of that game in 21, and you see some of those things show up throughout that season, so this season. So you think you'll get those and prepare your guys for that as well.
One more question.
How's Elijah Morris doing and the overall health of the defense right now?
Yeah, I think overall defensively, I think we're in a good place. Getting Zay McGyver back this week, I think that'll be big. He started practice yesterday and looked good today, doing some good things. It's going to take him a little bit to get back in football shape. Eli is bouncing back and, appears to be going in the right direction. So excited about him, and I think Eli, regardless of whether, he missed Saturday or what, his presence within our locker room, within our defense, he does a great job with his leadership. And we got several guys. Jeremy Lewis just been more vocal this week that, all those guys are more demanding, more pressing of their teammates and of themselves to go get the job done. To go get the job done this Saturday.